Here's why a portable mortgage is not going to save the real estate market. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be looking at reform or revising how we look at current mortgages in the United States today to get more people into homes. What I'm saying is a portable mortgage is not going to be the answer. Let's break it down. The vast majority of people that have a sub 3% mortgage rate didn't buy during the pandemic. They actually bought prior to the pandemic and they refinanced during the pandemic. So let's say in 2019, you bought a home for $600,000 and you put 10% down. You have a $540,000 loan amount. Yeah, $600,000 is a lot. I live in San Diego. It is what it is. During the pandemic, you refinanced to a 3% rate, and over the last 5 years, you've paid approximately $50,000 off on that principal mortgage balance. Now let's talk appreciation. There's a good chance your property is worth probably 40% more than it was when you bought it in 2019. So that $600,000 home is now worth $900,000 to $1 million. If you're going to buy a new home, you're not going to buy the same home you're in now. You're probably going to buy something bigger. You're going to upgrade. So you sell at $1 million and you buy something at, let's call it $1.5 million. Yeah, I know. Prices are ridiculous. Now, let's say they get regulations through and everything happens wonderfully and you can port your mortgage of roughly $500,000 to your new house at $1.5 million. Now, when you have two liens on a property, you're going to keep at least 20% equity in that property, which means at a $1.5 million purchase price, you have a $1.2 million loan balance, meaning you have $500,000 from your first mortgage and $700,000 that you need to get another loan for. But I already have a 3% mortgage rate. Why do I need another loan? Hey, ding-a-ling, just because the timing worked out for you doesn't mean that you always get a 3% mortgage rate no matter what you buy, no matter how much that loan amount is. And there's not an investor on earth that's going to give you a second lien position mortgage at the going rate of a regular 30-year fixed first lien mortgage. So that extra $700,000 is going to come at a higher rate. Let's call it 8%. Now, this is where something very important comes in called a blended rate. You have $500,000 at 3%. You have $700,000 at 8%. You're actually paying a blended rate at 6%. Not far off from where rates are today. Now, let's be honest. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. When you're dealing with mortgages and investors, there's a lot of red tape and a lot of regulations that you got to get through. It's going to take years before this actually happens. But let's say all this does work out and you can port your mortgage to a new property. That's going to heat up the housing market and prices are going to start appreciating at 10, 15% again, just like it was during the pandemic. And that home buyer who was sitting on the sidelines because they didn't have a 3% rate isn't going to help them and they're going to be priced out of a home anyway. I'm not saying that it might not be a good idea down the road and maybe we should start writing mortgages that allow you to port them in the future, but don't expect it to change anything drastically in our current market. Now, if you want to see how stuff like this really impacts you, give me a follow, shoot me a DM, let's start some conversations. But I want to hear what you think of a portable mortgage. Is it going to save the world or are we getting in a worse position? Let me see your comments below.